Okay, we're going to have a chat today about framing up your artwork. You might have seen my last video where I was cutting a mount for a piece of artwork. Here, this one. If you haven't seen that video, then I'll put a link at the end to the video and you can go and watch that. And I talk about using a proper big mount cutter, but I also go over some of the things that you can do at home just with a craft knife and a little beveled edge cutter that you can buy. I think they're probably about, I don't know, about £10. So I'll put the link at the end, but I'm going to talk about mounting up your work today. It's a print I've sold, but it's to a friend who wanted it in a frame, and so I've said that I'll cut a mount and pop it in. Now, if you are mounting up print work, I'm just going to give you a little chat about signing your work at the bottom. Now, this person wanted it in this frame, and I have cut a mount, sorry, here we go, that just goes around the whole of the outside of it. So, and I haven't left space here at the bottom, I hope you can see, to sign my work. There is space, but then I should have cut my mount a little bit bigger. And I've actually, what I've done is I've just written on the back the edition, the title, and signed it on the back. Yeah, if you are doing a print like this that you're going to sign at the bottom, then when you make your mount, you need to include that as kind of part of the print. So if you're going to have like 1/2 centimetre around the outside, you don't want, like I've got here, 1/2 centimetre at the bottom. You want more, you want your 1/2 centimetre to come underneath your signature. So just think about that. If you don't want to, like this one, have it signed on the front and you want to sign it on the back, I'm going to have a chat about that as I go through. If you have got something like a watercolour that you want to frame up, then you might want to make sure that when you cut your mount, especially if you've painted to the edges of your page and your mount is going to crop off that outside, make sure that your signature comes inside. I know some people sign the mounts themselves. I'm not that keen on having a signature on the mount. If you do, it's not a problem, but do remember that if your mount gets changed for a different one, or it goes in a different frame or whatever, you've got nothing on your painting or your piece to say who it's from. So do make sure that if you're going to sign on your mount, that you put something on the back that just says this is what it is. Okay, if you have never cut a mount before and you don't want to get into cutting bespoke mounts, so let's think about sometimes where we might want a specific mount and frame done. So say you are selling your work in a gallery and they're going to hang some up on the wall, then you definitely want a really nice frame and mount done. And this is where I would think about, if it's new to you, going to a framer's. So have a Google for local framers, where you can actually drop your work off, take your work, speak to them, pick it up, have a look at it, see what they're doing. Get a bit of a rapport with a local framer is definitely a good thing to do. If you are selling your work, say there's a local art trail or something, and you want to maybe have some people come to your house, but you don't want the expense of putting in lots and lots of work in frames. Say there's a local craft sale, village hall type thing. You want to put your work in frames to display, but you don't want to spend loads of money, because you do need to think that the cost of your framing is going to be added onto the cost of your piece. So if you don't want to spend lots of money like that, then buying an off-the-shelf frame from somewhere with an integral mount, so this is one I've just taken the backing board off at the moment, with a mount already cut in it, is a great idea. They're only sort of, you know, £5 or so, with a nice frame and a mount ready to go. But you can see from this one, this is slightly too small anyway, but this mount would not suit my print. So do think, if you're going to go down the route of buying an off-the-shelf frame, that actually you either need to do your artwork to fit the mount that comes with it. So if you kind of buy a standard size, an A4 frame that comes with a mount in it, you'll have a standard size mounting, and you can do all your work to that size. Or, you know, you're going to end up having to sort of crop some of your work slightly with the mount that comes with it. It's not a bad idea if you've never done mounting or framing before. I suggest to all my students to do this: buy an off-the-shelf mount with a frame with a mount in it, and work to that size. Yeah, I think if you're starting to sell your work a lot more, this is where you're going to think about doing frames. Now, I do not sell my work in frames. I sell them in mounts. If I'm selling at a gallery, if I've got work at a local gallery, I put my work in a frame, but I do not sell, you know, when I post out in a frame. It's just way too much hassle. You're constantly worried about packaging and making sure that it's all safe and it doesn't get damaged. I just sell either just the prints or in a mount. So have a think about what you want to do there, if that's the case. I know some people do sell in frames, and it's not a bad thing. I just think sometimes in the end that people just want to put their own frame around a piece of work. They've got something that matches their house, you know, they've already got a piece of work in a frame, they're going to swap it over. If you send it, especially if you send it in a mount of a standard size to fit your piece, they can do what they want with it the other end then. And you also haven't got that extra cost. They can go and buy a mount off the shelf or go to a framer's and have it done, and the cost is sort of there. It isn't incorporated into the price of your piece. Right, if you're doing something like craft fairs and things, then I might be inclined to do a few of them framed up that you can display, and then have the rest just in mounts that you can give to people. People don't want to walk away carrying a massive picture in a frame and everything all the way around a craft fair with them. And also, again, the cost of it. When they see the price and they see, oh, okay, it's ready to put in a frame, I can just go and buy a frame and put it in. I think people are much happier to do that than think, oh my goodness, that's expensive, and they're not factoring in the cost that it's had. It's been to a framer's and had a frame on it. If you're going to a framer's and getting your work done, then there's lots of other things to consider. Do you have light reflective glass? Do you have UV glass? And that's definitely something to chat to your framer about. And it's something that you need to think constantly builds into the cost of your piece. So depending where you're working, where you're selling your work, that'll make a difference. But let's just assume we're going to buy a frame off a shelf. And if you're framing for yourself, easy. Choose something you like, whatever it is, and buy it. That's it. Done. If you are buying frames because you're going to sell work or you're going to show people what work looks like, Then you've got a couple of choices: black, white, or you can get that slightly beach effect. I think personally I would go for white all the time, because then what you get is just a really nice crisp image, and that's it. Your frame and your mount doesn't detract from it at all. You just see your piece that you're putting in. I do sell prints that are quite that are just black and white, and then I do put a black frame around. So I'll quickly show you sort of here. So I know it's upside down, but with a black frame around. Let me move that out a bit. Hopefully you can see that, and you've not got too much reflection on the surface there. Can you see the difference between that one there? Let me put my mount around it so you can see in its mount as such. So there, like that. Right, or is the bottom half, or there, like that. You see the difference there? Slight difference between the two. It picks out the it picks out various colours, or it enhances, it makes it look brighter or darker. So just think about that when you're framing up. Okay, so my mount is going to go on here. Right, I have got some low tack tape. Make sure that the tape that you're using is an acid free. I have got this other really nice tape, Framers tape as well. So I'm just going to tap that on there. Check my mount, hasn't got any marks or anything on it, and I am going to offer it up there, and I'm just going to check, so I can see that that's squiffy already. Top there. I'm just going to press on the edge there. Flip that over. Oops. Okay, I don't want to put loads and loads of tape on this. You know, if the person wants to reframe it at all or put a different mount on it, you don't want to make it impossible for them to get out. So I'm just going to tape around the edges here. There we go, there. So I've actually brought it up a little bit here. We'll see when it goes in how much leeway I've got. Okay, so I've got my frame here, and I'm going to take one of these microfiber cloths, and I'm going to go all the way around and make sure that it's nice and clean. You can buy those cans of air where you spray the air on, and that's also a useful thing. I would also be very careful of things like cats. We've got cats and I get cat hairs in everything, so Also, be careful if you're thinking, oh, I'm going to spray on. If it's really dirty and you've been messing with it with your fingers, then do spray a cleaner in there. But then leave it to one side and make sure that all of that cleaner has evaporated off. You don't want to, you know, trap any damp in your frame at all. Pop our print in there. If you've brought a frame, it might come with, I've just got this out of this white one here, a little sheet that was showing through telling you the size. As long as this is acid free, you can turn this round and put it against the backing here. But I have got a backing sheet just to pop in. You want something that stops it touching. Again, just going to trim that slightly. Oh, I've already put a mark. I obviously forgot to trim it before I started filming. I'm just putting this in so that the backing board that I'm using doesn't touch against my print. You can put a piece of card in here, whatever you want to do. Make sure that it's an acid free, and just so that this doesn't touch. Sometimes these little hinge things, sometimes they go through, or I can kind of just feel here that there's a little rook here where this has obviously gone in. We don't want anything from the outside, and especially metal, touching your piece at all. So pop that in. So remembering that you've either signed the front or the back of your piece. Anything else that you wanted to put, your date, the date it was made, if it's a print, what edition it is. Okay, so I'm gonna wipe over here, and look, already got tons of stuff in there still. Absolutely rubbish job at doing that. So let's pop that out again. This is where I'm going to spend ages now, backwards and forwards doing this. There we go, that's better, isn't it? Okay, so put my backing piece in, put my board back in, flip over. That's better. It needs to clean on the front though. Do that in a minute. So I do like a constant check all the time as I'm going. You're better off checking, and sometimes as you push against the these tabs, it will push something to the surface that you haven't seen. Okay, so there we go. I'm going to give this a clean on the front as well. Okay, all right, there. Okay, so on the back, choice is up to you. You can put framers tape round. You can add, now I've got some things that I add. So I've got these sheets with my little logo on, or I've got these that I print off. Quite often if I'm sending stuff to a gallery, I'll just automatically stick one of these on everything that goes, just so that I know what it is. If you've got some specific labels that you want to put on with more information about your piece, you can put those on. You can just write on the board at the back, but this is your opportunity now to write anything, your contact details or anything like that that isn't sealed within, so that the person that buys this piece can come back and buy another one from you. Cut that one in half because I don't know if they're going to use that hook or not there. Oh my goodness, I'm getting myself in a right mess with this tape today. It's because I'm doing it on here, so I'm getting thrown now. Trying to do it. That's better. So just trim this one in half as well, just so that I don't clip over these little tabs in case they're using those. I'm going to peel that off because I haven't lined that up straight. Yeah, make sure that you're not trapping things underneath this tape like hair and stuff. Oh, for goodness sake, I'm struggling today. Oh, here we go. That's better, isn't it? There. Done. See if I can find my other cloth now. There. All done. Ready to go. Right. I hope you could see that okay. I know you've got a nice reflection of all my recording equipment above me. But yes, make sure you put your details on the back. It's silly to do a whole thing up and not put your details on the back. This frame was given to me by my friend, but I have to say if I was buying bog standard frames that I was going to mount up, then I would definitely take the label off of where I got it from and everything. If not, if I can't get it off, then I will try and cover it over and put my labels over the top of it, just because I think it looks a little bit neater and a bit more professional. And that's ready to go now. I'll wrap that up in some tissue paper and done. Yeah, if you've got any questions or you want to ask me anything, then pop them down in the comments below, and I'll try and answer them. But yes, hopefully this was useful. See you at the next video. Bye bye. Click through to the mount cutting video if you haven't seen that yet, and do remember I've got lots and lots of information on my website, so do check it out.